Hello everybody. Welcome to our super new moon for November. So it's falling on the 15th at 23 degrees Scorpio. So if you sign up for my newsletter, you can get a little bit of extra information from me because every new moon and full moon have actually a lot of different things going on, a lot of ways of approaching it. And what I do in my newsletters that I've alluded to in my other videos, but I'm just going to keep it special for my newsletter subscribers now, is the Sabian symbols. So if you want to learn more, another whole way of looking at this new moon, then you might want to subscribe. So I will, that link will be in the bottom in the comments. Otherwise, you can go to river-rain.info to free newsletter and you can see it there. So we're going to do the tarot as usual. We're going to pick a card for every sign as usual. And first I'm going to dive into the astrology of this super new moon. So I cast the chart as if it's for New York City just because I'm in the Eastern time zone, and it sort of centralizes it around a major city in the Eastern time zone. So if you're in the Eastern time zone as well, then this super new moon is going to have a Virgo as a rising sign, and Scorpio is the sun and the moon. So when you get Scorpio and Virgo together, you get a detective. So maybe you're going to find yourself scrutinizing or doing some detailed research or detective work. Whether that's for any reason. You could be researching how to invest your money or where to buy a house, or you could be doing a little digging on people in power, people in the public eye, or hopefully you're not spying on anyone you know, but there's that energy in the air, Scorpio and Virgo, observing and scrutinizing. However, I don't think that's the main energy of this new moon. When I look at the chart, even though I'm going to tell you about certain aspects that could create some volatility or friction, the main feeling I get is sort of like there's this feeling of like a big fire that wants to be lit, but the stronger feeling is that there's like a wet blanket on the fire. So I'm actually looking at this chart, and overall the energy, I'm feeling more calm about it. It feels like something being extinguished. And that word extinguished could be extinguishing other conflicts, other things that feel like they're volatile or could rise or erupt. And that could be on a global stage, political stage, that could be in your personal life. Something else, any kind of fire that gets extinguished. You know, so that could be on one side, you know, maybe you're pissed off about something in your life, something's been bothering you. That fire extinguisher feeling could come and take it away, remove it, calm it. That would be the best case scenario. The worst case scenario would be that you have, you know, high motivation or strong willpower to get something done. Or make a change, and something comes along and extinguishes it. Would mean like you're losing your fire in a way that isn't as good. But overall, with the way things, with certain this major aspect that keeps coming up all of 2020, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn all in Capricorn conjunct. So this is like the energy of the restructuring, the rebellion, the challenges to democracy, challenges to capitalism, challenges to the structures we live by for so long, patriarchal or whatnot. This is the aspect we've been dealing with all year, and we have this one last hurrah, this one last conjunction happening today, the 13th, as I film this. And you know, by the new moon on the 15th, we're going to see this large protest march in Washington. And I'm really praying that this message of things being sort of quieted or extinguished works there as well, just so that nobody gets hurt. Because otherwise, We have Mars in Aries that went direct also yesterday, the 12th. And so the people's fire and anger is being brought forward in more conscious ways, more active, less covert ways than the last several weeks when it's been retrograde. But it's squaring off with Pluto again. And as I've mentioned in other videos, if you've followed them here and there, when Pluto squared off with Aries, Capricorn squaring off with Aries like that, we usually see uprisings or attempts at uprisings. And so because of the timing of what's going on in the US and the timing of these aspects, we may see the attempt at, you know, a protest or a coup d'etat type of feeling. But again, I'm going to bring up some of the other planets going on, and this overall feeling I'm getting of like, no, there's an extinguisher, there's a wet blanket on it. It's not going to set a wildfire. It's not going to be as big or as destructive as some people might be feeling. I'm not feeling that. So the other thing that is good that's going on with this new moon is that we have Venus in Libra, which denotes somebody that wants justice, wants fairness, wants harmony, and wants beauty, wants things to be balanced and rational. So that is a nice influence to have in the air over the last few weeks. And she's still very strong. So there's a strong desire, Venus, to make things more civil, to go back to the laws, to make things more less dramatic in tone. And I think we're seeing that more and more. And hopefully you're feeling that more in your own life too, this desire to talk things out, balance things out, and you know, restore some decorum, some civility, I want to say. Raising the vibe, raising the bar of how we're talking and communicating. If you focus on that aspect, that's probably the best part of this chart, because Venus is making a trine or a helpful aspect with the North Node, which is in Gemini at the top of the chart. Which means to me that you focus on the air sign quality of Venus and North Node in Libra, Gemini. So now you're talking about exchanging ideas, communicating, writing, the arts, beautifying things, being adaptable, curious, willing to learn, flexible of mind, not holding things in, building up and blowing and boiling over, keeping things lighter. If you focus on that side of yourself or of your life during this transit of the new moon, I think you'll see that you feel really good. There's some breakthroughs in your consciousness. The other aspect that is going on, it's a good aspect, but then there's, you know, there's a little bit of a thing to watch for as well, is Venus is also squaring off with those same planets I mentioned, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. So you have this, you know, desire to like bust things wide open and change society and, you know, tear down the buildings, tear down the structure. Mars is also squaring that, so it's like, well, we want it our way. Venus over here comes in and says, now, let's just talk about this calmly. None of us wants that. We want things to be peaceful. So Venus in Libra finds that behavior sort of distasteful or scary, or maybe even a bit disgusting. So it doesn't want to be part of that. So, and this is the highest part of the chart, the Venus and that North Node in Gemini, raising things higher, making things more broad-minded and open-minded. So The other aspect we have that's nice is the moon and sun in Scorpio are making a nice easy trine angle to Neptune. So that brings out this mystical, you know, emotional, going deep, deep diving, a little more introverted or introspective, spiritual awakening, dreams, visions, ancestral memories coming through, past life memories coming through. It could be a pretty nice, powerful, spiritual awakening kind of new moon for some of you, if you're willing and open to that. I'm already hearing it from clients. I'm already experiencing it myself. The ancestral memories thing is super strong. To me, the new moon in Scorpio is more truly Halloween or Samhain, because the sun and the moon are in Scorpio, which represent the thinnest of the veils. So even though we talked about that before for actual Halloween and Samhain by the calendar, to me, astrologically, it's now. So you may find that you feel visitations, dreams, open to your ancestors, open to spirit guides or any paranormal thing that wants to come through. And also just really deep personal excavation. If you're doing your any kind of healing or introspective work, it might take it to the next notch, which is a very nice thing for this moon. Now, the only thing that I would say for the average person we want to watch for, and certainly it might play out on the global stage, political stage too, but because we have Neptune in Pisces in our 7th house in this chart, again, Eastern Seaboard. Neptune in the 7th house would mean idealizing people, not seeing your closest relationships clearly. You either put other people on a pedestal and think they're better than you, or you might be the one asking others to put you on a pedestal. It can signify somebody, though, who could be very, very spiritually advanced, or somebody who's very artistic in our close relations, somebody very imaginative. But also it can represent people in our close relations who have trouble with escapism, and that can mean anything from mental health to addiction problems. Some reason they're running away or escaping their problems, or they're escaping themselves. And this Neptune in the 7th house is also squaring off with that North Node in Gemini, that high point that I said. So it's sort of like it makes us foggy, it makes us feel fuzzy, murky, can make us feel spaced out. People might idealize, people might be dismissive, people might not be taking people seriously, and they should. Neptune just creates like a, you know, around everything, so we can't quite, we see it clearly, and then but, you know, and so we might be struggling to see certain people clearly. So we just want to watch for that, right? And then the other thing would be, because it's squaring off with that North Node, again, you want to just sort of detach from maybe getting too intense with people, and that can be tough to discern. You know, that line between getting really attached to somebody and putting them on a pedestal, or putting them above you, or giving them all this credit that they're, you know, they've got these wonderful qualities, but really it's projection. It's nothing to do with them. You're projecting yourself. So all I would say is, because the energy is highest when we're a little more cerebral, a little more light, detached, just talking, bantering, you know, brainstorming. If you see yourself getting too, like, you know, or too attached or too emotional about somebody that you're close to, it's time to pull back. It's time to lighten this up. Pull back, take a look, take a second look, because you might You might just want to check that you're seeing people clearly. All right, so not a bad new moon to start. I don't think. It doesn't feel bad to me. Like I said, nothing's ever perfect and doesn't apply to everybody that is ever listening to this. But the energy in the air for me doesn't seem like there's anything terribly heavy or dark or dangerous or any of that. Like I said, wet blanket, foggy, fuzzy, murky mind, wet blanket, extinguisher effect. All right, so we're burning our sage, clearing the cards. So I'm going to pull the cards for this new moon. All right, just got to get comfy. All right. So just shuffle a few times and focus on the supermoon, this new moon phase, lasting, you know, from around November like 11th or 12th up to the 18th, 19th, but sustaining us until the full moon in 2 weeks. So think about this as like a 2 weeks type of reading. All right. So our first card for this new moon is the Hermit card. So again, a lot of us are going into lockdown all over the world. This is a quarantine card for sure. This is an introvert card, but you know what? The best part of the Hermit is you look at the light. So the Hermit withdraws from society in order to gain enlightenment. Why? Because you can't reach any higher state of mind, or you can't touch the depths of yourself while you're constantly gabbing and running around all over the place with people or doing errands or being distracted. You just can't. So the Hermit, to me, definitely signifies it's time to go within, and it's quarantine time, and, you know, we want people to please stay home and have a few safe people that, you know, in your bubble, that you, so you're not completely isolated. But we have to be more careful. And it's a productive time if you are willing to accept that it is an inward journey time for you, not a time to be getting stuff done in the outside world as much as time for you to rest, read, meditate, catch up on your sleep, think more deeply about what you're doing and who you're around. Because the light suggests that there is insight to be had. All right. Our next card is Three of Cups. Very nice. Abundance. And Mercury in Cancer. So this is, to me, a very nurturing card. To nurture yourself and nurture others. So that can mean anything from, you know, how do you nurture yourself? Do you give yourself, are you making some homemade food? You know, are you stopping to, I don't know, give yourself a foot massage? Are you getting up to stretch and move your body so you don't feel stiff at work? Are you sleeping enough? Are you warm enough? Are you listening to how you feel? Are you reassuring and listening to how others feel? So this is a really nice card that comes out of that Hermit card. Like, that's beautiful. There's a lot of closeness and gentleness and self-care that comes out of this Hermit mode. Alrighty, the next card here is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups can sometimes be my card of burnout, because as you sort of see, like, the cups are all red. It should be blue when there's water. So when it's fiery, but it's water. And I always look at this card as if it's like a face. The bottom is a neck and the top is the head. And you can see that there's clouds around the top three cups. And so it looks like there's a foggy head, doesn't there? Like I was saying, foggy head, foggy brain. If you find that that's how you're feeling right now and you're spacey, and it could be the planets. It could also be that we're having meteor showers all week. That'll make you, solar flares and meteor showers will make you feel foggy. You make your eyes, sometimes your eyes go blurry. Sometimes you get headaches. But keep in mind to look for the signs in yourself or people that you're close to that you might be burnt out. I think the whole world needs a rest right now, honest to God. We've had so much to deal with COVID and with political stress and drama. I think people are not stuck. They're just really freaking tired. So if you are and you can't think clearly, it's not a time to make big decisions with this. Not yet. Let yourself rest first. Lots of messages about. Okay, our next card is the universe. So the universe is a great card. Something is coming to fruition or close, or a height. Something feels like, okay, good, it's done, it's over. The chapter's over. Oh, and all of what that means. So we start with this card to reevaluate the last chapter that we feel is coming to a close. We think about, all the woulda, coulda, shoulda. You evaluate the people that you were with or who represented that chapter, and you ask yourself, are we going forward, or is this getting deeper, or is this done, or is this just need some space? If it's your career, maybe you've reached something in your career where you feel like something's finished and you're looking for the next thing. So sometimes people feel like they're at a crossroads when they get the universe card, and there is a need for decisions for a new life, but often you don't know what it is yet. You need to spend some time just remembering that chapter and putting it to rest in your own mind. And as you let go of things, one by one, your world gets clearer and the path gets clearer. But the universe card can often mean, especially when you got the burnout in the universe. So it's a time where there's going to be some endings and some new beginnings, but you might not see what they are yet. So our next card, lovely, Two of Swords, peace. And we have a Moon in Libra card. Remember, as said, the energy is highest this new moon because of the Libra Gemini planets aspect. So Moon in Libra, wanting harmony, beauty, peace, balance, fairness, trust, talking things out calmly and rationally. This is a good sign of making peace or truce. And let's hope that plays out on a political stage as well, that there's a laying down of swords and a peace that can happen. If it's in your own life, well, as we mentioned, like the energy's high if you talk, share, keep things light, bring things up, not in a heavy way, but bring them up. Move lightly through your conversations with your friends, with your family, with your coworkers, and this is a very nice card after the universe to see a peace card. Peaceful closure, peaceful endings. Our next card is the Princess of Wands. So this means she's ready. She's ready to take risks. She's ready to be bold and fly after this. So there's some things that are being put into place, that are being put to rest deeply in the heart. And now she can act from her heart on new goals and new dreams. So this is beautiful. That was a great reading. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now, our next card is the Lovers. So for any of you out there who are struggling with the ending of any kind of relationship or wondering if you should, if you get to that place where you know in your heart of hearts you need to, don't worry about finding somebody new. The Lovers, whether this means you find the love of your life, you might just find like a kindred spirit. You might find the right partner to collaborate with. But the Lovers is a meeting of two different people, two opposites, two complementary people, or teams. It's very positive for meeting and partnering and going forward. Very nice. Our next card is Lady Justice. Adjustment, he calls it, or justice. So we see Lady Justice balanced on her sword. Her tippy toes are at the tip of the sword. And she's has to be as light and balanced as possible to have all of these spheres and scale and sword and everything just lightly balanced all around her. And there's a coolness with all the blues and greens. Again, suggesting these Libra qualities of detaching, pulling back, seeing both sides, assessing what's fair. And the adjustment card, though, or judgment card, justice card means to actually make a decision, though. It's not waffling and weighing it forever. It's weighed things out, and now it makes a big decision, a life-changing decision. And when you've got the Lovers next to Justice, that could be weddings for some people. That could be engagements, weddings, commitment, in your relationships. And again, if it's not everybody listening to this, it'll be romantic. Some people, maybe the commitment will play out with work collaborations, or maybe it'll play out with friends that just feel like you're closer than ever, and feels like there's more of a bond and a real commitment to each other. But this is all excellent card. And our last card is the Magician. Even better. Yeah, look at all these major arcana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 9. So we're in a cycle of some sort of destiny, some sort of turning point. And I see it with everyone I know. Every client and everyone I know is hovering around major life decisions right now. A lot of people talking about moving, a lot of people talking about traveling, a lot of people, some are in really bad relationships and marriages that they know need to end. Some of them are just ready to let go of the old baggage. Some are ready to take risks with their career. But I see it with everyone I know is so the Magician, if we leave it off on that, this Magician knows how to keep everything and everyone in check, and then go out and manifest what it wants. This Magician, this particular one, has a lot of self-control and is aware, because this little monkey, the Hanuman, I believe, is considered to be sort of this trickster that comes around to tease the Magician and get in his way. And in this case, he's kneeling on his head. So it's like, no. I see the trickster. I see what you're trying to do. I got your number. I'm in charge. I'm in control of this situation. And I'm going to go out there and build what I want. So this is a very interesting way to leave it off. I'd say overall, it's a very encouraging time to be thinking about changing your life. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen all in the next few months or within 2021. It might take till 2022 to make some of these major changes, because we're all in this state of waiting to see what happens with COVID and how we can open society back up and at what point. So for now, the most positive thing you could do is to think about and get excited by some of the big life changes that you've been wanting to really make. And you've got time to figure out how to make them and plan for them, save for them, get therapy around them, whatever they are, whatever that change is. You've got the time. Now is a doorway. You can change your life. You can open the door. So let's take a look at the readings for each sign now. And if I'm looking down, it's because I'm just trying to note what time all these readings start. So you can look at the bottom if you want to check your sign or check your rising sign. I will have the times that each reading starts listed below. All right. Okay, so let's first start off with Aries then. All right, for Aries, let's see, how will we frame this? All right, I'm going to, because we have this Neptune in the 7th house, which could trip us up, I'm going to make the readings all about where is your blind spot? Where is your blind spot? That's going to be the readings for now. All right. So wherever you might not be seeing something clearly, that's what the reading's about. So Aries. Where's your blind spot, Aries? All right. So talk about a chunky message for the first one. Okay, Aries, so your blind spot would be about your mother. Your mother or grandmother, or if you are a mother, it's the blind spot would be about nurturing and something to do with how you were nurtured at home, how you were raised, how you see your mom. Are you seeing your mother clearly? Maybe you're seeing her as not as strong as she actually is, or maybe you're seeing her as larger than life when actually she's more, fragile than that. It could, if it's you who is a mom, or it could be your wife if you're a man listening to this. Take a look at your ideals about what a mother is and isn't and should and shouldn't be, or who you thought yours was, or who you want yours to be. And ask yourself those questions if you're being realistic or if you're being fair, if you're really seeing this person clearly. Because adjusting this kind of level of expectations is huge. It's huge. It's life-changing if you get even a little bit of insight on that. Yeah, wow. I didn't mean to start off so Freudian, but it did. Okay. All right, Taurus. Where is your blind spot? 3 of Swords. So, to me, this is crystal clear. This is a card of grieving and sorrow. And so it's a very simple thing in my books is where are you maybe not aware that you are grieving, or where are you suppressing a certain amount of sadness? Yeah, that's pretty cut and dry. If you're getting irritable, if you're constantly tired or no motivation, check and see if some of the things that you think are other symptoms could actually be coming from some unresolved grief. It would mean you've got to let yourself grieve or feel the loss of something that you might be just letting it fester for too long. Yeah, okay. Well, it is a new moon and sun and moon in Scorpio, so it's your opposite signs, and it's probably one of your harder times of year right now, so yeah. All right. Gemini, where is your blind spot? 7 of Wands. So your blind spot, or what you need to work on or look at, is where am I not standing up for myself? Where am I not putting boundaries? Where am I not stepping up to bat when I need to? Calling things out, saying the truth when I need to? Saying no when I need to? Mars and Leo, valor. And yet the wand looks broken in the middle. The other wands are crushing it, breaking its back almost. So don't let anybody break your back. You know, don't let life or other people around crush you. It's time to stand up to it. So if you can relate to this, try to figure out what area of your life this is applying to and start to put your foot down a little bit more. And you're going to see your life go better. All right. So, Cancer. Cancer, where is your blind spot? Queen of Wands. Interesting. Okay. So this could be a couple of things. Remember, I've talked about the Queen of Wands in other readings. You don't want to mess with her. You want her on your side because she's a force to be reckoned with. That's the thing that people don't realize about Cancers. Because Cancers are emotional, people think they're weak, but they're not. So I would actually challenge you, Cancer, to take a look at your relationship with your own power. Are you letting yourself show your own power? Are you taking your power? Perhaps you might want to ask yourself if you are too controlling, because that would be more of a way that Cancer feels comfortable to express power, is controlling and micromanaging in different ways, instead of Queen of Wands, like being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, I said yes, I said no, please, blah, 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 you know. Forceful, dynamic personality. If you're not letting that side of you out, then you might be too demanding or controlling or needy or something like that, when really you've got to connect with your stronger side and bring out your inner power more so that it comes out in a healthier way. Wow, this is good. Okay. All right, Leo, where is your blind spot? Four of Swords, truce, Jupiter in Libra. This means that you need to be good at negotiating, and truly negotiating, not being dominant, not just saying we're going to talk things through and be under any kind of false pretense when you actually think that you will, that you know that you're right, or that you know what the end outcome is going to be. The Four of Swords, the swords are equal. Everyone sits down at the table as an equal to talk in the midst of the friction. So the blind spot here might be that are you really coming to the table as an equal with people? Woo, that's a shadow, isn't it? It's a shadow and a half to think about that one. That would be the advice or the goal, is to sit down and make yourself on the same level as everybody and remove this feeling that you have to take care of everybody, or you have to be in charge, or you know what the end result's going to be and you're just waiting for it to be there. It's got to be a true negotiation and a true equal dynamic when you're talking with people. All right, Virgo. Virgo, where is your blind spot? Oh, you get a Virgo card. 8 of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo. Prudence. That's an interesting one as a blind spot, because this is a good card of slow and steady growth and patience. So I'm going to venture to say, is your shadow something to do with impatience? Are you trying to rush through things that need time? Are you doing things in a way where there is a solid base so that it can grow and flourish? or are you rushing through things? Also, maybe the Eight of Pentacles shadow could be also something to do with materialism. If you're too worried about material results, money, you know, having something to show for it, prove it, results that you can see or measure. Because this card could also be sort of like spiritual fruit or flowers. There's a growth that happens in this card that you want to be sure that you're actually growing and not rushing through or just thinking about material results. All right. Okay. Libra, what is your shadow? What is your blind spot right now to work on? Six of Cups. Well, the card is a Scorpio card, the Sun in Scorpio, and pleasure. So this can mean all kinds of things. Your shadow could be that you're indulging in pleasure too much, concerned too much about things being feeling good or being only fun or only tasting good or only, you know, any of your senses that you're indulging. It could also mean that for some Libras, maybe you're not allowing yourself true pleasure. There's a question to ask yourself of, am I denying myself pleasure, or am I overindulging and only focused on pleasure? There's something to balance in that realm for you. And what a better time to do it? Well, we're in Scorpio, and this is a Scorpio card. It's sort of about going deeper than just pleasure. You know, like we see the 6 beautiful cups and flowers floating above the water. But that water is an ocean. It's not a bathtub. It's deep. So the risk would be that if you're only focused on pleasure seeking, or you're denying yourself pleasure, that you're somehow not going deeper into what life can offer you. So we just don't want to be too surface or too shallow about this topic and take it deeper. I find this is the, you know, of all the messages, this is sort of the nicer one to be thinking about. All right, let's go on to Scorpio now. Scorpio, what is your blind spot? Jupiter in Capricorn, 2 of Pentacles. Well, the blind spot here would just be accepting that everything changes. Accepting the snake, the death and rebirth cycle, the dark and the light. Everybody has dark and light. Everyone has good and bad, yin and yang. Everybody has times where they're extroverted and introverted. People are both. You are both. The universe is constantly both. So yeah, you might be struggling with dualities in yourself or dualities in other people right now. You might be struggling to accept that things are not predictable or stable, or people are not one thing that you thought. So the whole message in this card is just try to accept that life itself is change, and so when change happens, there's no judgment to it on yourself or others. Wow, that was a deep one. Okay. And by the way, happy birthday to our Scorpios if you're celebrating right now. Let's move on to Sagittarius. What is your blind spot, Sagittarius? Oh, 8 of Cups. Saturn in Pisces. Why bother? Screw it. Nobody cares. Can't connect. I'm alone. I'm isolated. Pointless. Depression. Now that seems so opposite to every book you read on Sagittarians, doesn't it? But of course, you're human, so of course you're capable of this feeling of depression, of feeling disconnected or isolated or alone. So the shadow here then, the work to do is very clear. Saturn in Pisces, you must understand that we are all one. You have to do or find or read or access whatever it is in the universe that gives you back that feeling, that knowledge that we are all connected. No matter how separate you think you are, you're not. So it would be a good time to go back and reread or re-listen or re-watch things that used to make you feel uplifted and connected, because you might be drifting a little too far away into your own head. And it's very hard when you pull this card because you feel like it's pointless to talk to people. You'll withdraw from sharing. So if you find that you can't talk to anybody in particular, try to write a journal at least, you know, or a video blog, I don't care. Like, just do something to get it out of you. And look for those signs of how we're all connected. Look for patterns, look for parallels. Go out in nature and try to find a place that you're all alone. You won't find it because there'll always be a bird there. There'll always be trees that feel alive or water that feels alive. And you'll realize, yeah, even if you want to be alone, you're never alone. So the real thing is feeling like you can't fully express yourself or connect to people because you're not able to express something true of who you are. So you might be around the wrong crowd. You might not have found your right tribe yet. So keep looking. Keep expressing what you need to and you'll find them. Yeah. Alrighty. Moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, what is your blind spot? All right. That's an interesting blind spot. The sun. Well, the sun is usually talking about joy, childhood type of innocence, like a wonder, realizing that there's beauty and wonder in the world, being playful. You see a whole zodiac around the edges. Sometimes it means, you know, happy families, happy marriages. The sun is shining on you. So how would that be a blind spot? Well, are you overly focused on that as an ideal? And maybe you have it or you don't have it. Are you afraid of losing it? Are you working yourself crazy to try and get that? So maybe it could be just questioning your ideals about a happy family and taking some pressure off of yourself. That could be part of the blind spot. The other thing that comes to mind that could be a blind spot or a shadow thing with the sun card would be, you know, that fake it till you make it kind of thing where you're like, yeah, we're really happy. It's really great. But it's not, you know, because you're trying, people try so desperately to make it sound all happy, joy, but if it's not honest, then it's giving like a fake feeling to people, and then it isolates you. Sometimes, you know, like Icarus, the sun shines too bright and it melts your wings and you fall. So we can't try to fly too close to the sun all the time, or there's danger. We're supposed, you know, the sun shines on us from a distance for a while, but if you're chasing the sun, and in this case, you know, this perfect ideal of something that you're chasing after, if you're chasing it too hard, it needs to relax so that it's not so much pressure on you or on the people around you. That's about the only thing I can say. It's really not that bad a card, and it's not that bad a blind spot to be having, to be honest with you. All right. Thank goodness. All right, Aquarius. Where is your blind spot? Oh, interesting. We come back to the nurturing and self-care and emotions card. Mercury in Cancer will always talk about their feelings. They will be intuitive. They'll be sensitive. They'll talk about how they feel. This, you know, if there was a card for doing psychotherapy or art therapy, this would be it. So your blind spot would be not letting yourself express your feelings enough. And it's not in a bad way. It doesn't always have to mean, you know, horrible tears about something. This is a happy card. This is abundance. It's actually sort of saying that you're blocking your own creative life, your own love energy, if you bottle up your emotions. This is a free-flowing fountain. You know, from here, the person would laugh, they would cry, they would paint, they would write a book, they would cry some more, and they would talk it out. You know, like it's a stream of water, of emotion that flows through everybody. And when it's clean and clear, it means expressing all range of your feelings. And so, you know, it's not a shallow card either. The waters below there are deep blue. The water and the flowers are all clean and clear. It's you know, it's a celebration card usually. It's sort of a wedding and happy party kind of celebration. So it's hard to tell people, well, you know, you need to go out and celebrate and party during a time like ours. So what you can do, though, is admit how you're actually feeling and do your best to channel that into something. I know Aquarians don't usually like to let anybody know that they have any feelings. But it's really important that you find somebody that you can share your feelings to. And if you can't, then it needs to come out in a healthy outlet so that, you know, it doesn't turn into other coping mechanisms. So yeah, it's time to spill your heart. Well, that's quite the message. Okay. And last but not least, we have the blind spot to focus on for Pisces. All right. The blind spot for you is the Three of Wands. Interesting. Interesting. Because I'm saying interesting because it's Sun in Aries, and the Sun in Aries follows Pisces. So the way that Pisces sort of comes back to balance is by focusing on yourself, which Pisces usually doesn't. They're usually thinking of everyone but themselves. So this is a message that your blind spot is that, and it also says virtue. This card means doing the right thing, doing the noble thing, doing, you know, as the sayings go, like, you know, how do you react or do things when no one's watching with integrity? This would be a card of integrity. This would be a card of you're putting yourself first in a way that rebalances things. It's not about fighting for it or being combative about it or in your face, or it's deeper than that. It's a card that says, I'm here and I'm important too. And based on that, you sort of will know what needs to be done. And if you need to say no to something, if you need to walk away from something, it's a card about preserving your integrity. Ah, wow. This was quite the way to frame the readings this time, but that's what came to me. So I sincerely hope that this astrology tarot report helps you frame how to focus your mind the next couple weeks around this new moon. And I hope with the readings that it gives you lots to chew on. And if you want to reach me for a private reading or coaching, I can help you. And you can reach me at river-rain.com, Clairvoyant Medium Catherine Allen on Facebook, or Catherine River Rain on Instagram. All right. I'll see you next time for the full moon.